Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Honeybee Stamp's Lovely Layers Spring Greenery, also their Egg Crate Honey Cut dies. For pattern paper, I'm using an older collection called Marvelous Moments. I'll also be using one of their new 3D embossing folders. This is Daisy Field. And for a sentiment, I'm using the stamp set Eggstra Special. I've already embossed a piece of craft cardstock, and I want to add a little extra color to the daisies. I'm using some Distress Oxide ink. This is Aged Mahogany. I selected the smallest blender brush from Honeybee Stamps to add the color to all the little daisies. Now most of them will be covered up with image and pattern paper, but I still decided to add ink to all the flowers. For a little extra detail on the embossed background, I'll splatter some white ink all over it. Then I'll set that aside to let it dry. Next, I'll start working on the egg crate or egg carton. I have a mini stencil mat, and I cut out 2 of the pieces from some white shimmer cardstock. I'll add just a little bit of color to the edge of the crate. I'm using the Tea-Dye Distress Oxide ink color. This time I'm using the medium-sized blender brush from Honeybee Stamps. Put some ink on the bottom of the crate and also some along the edges of the lid. This die set is perfect for making some fun Easter cards. There's a coordinating stencil to add all the fun designs on the eggs, but you can also use it for non-Easter cards, and that's what I'm doing in this video. I cut out 6 eggs, and these are from the Marvelous Moments pattern paper. Using the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, I'm adding a little bit of splatter to all of the eggs. I pressed some ink on an acrylic block, sprayed it with water, then I'm using a paintbrush to add that fun splatter. I set the eggs aside to dry. Now I'll add just a little bit of ink to the very top of the eggs. The ink color is Prize Ribbon, and this is another Distress Oxide ink. I'm using the larger size of the Detail Blender brush pack. It's fun that there's 3 different brush sizes available in this pack. Now I'll add the eggs into the crate. First, I'll attach the 2 crate pieces together. I'm using Honeybee Stamps Precision Tip Glue, adding just a little bit along this outside frame piece. Then I'll layer them together. The bottom piece of the crate has cutouts so you can easily slip the eggs inside. The 3 eggs in the back row I'll glue down. Then the 3 eggs in the front, I'll put some foam dimension just on the very top of the egg. Then I'll pop them into the crate. When I'm adding the eggs into the crate, I tried not to have them all facing the same direction. So some are tilted slightly to the left and others more toward the right. I'll flip over the crate and use some tear tape on the back side just to make sure those eggs all stay in place. I'll remove the release paper, and I will be popping up the whole egg crate. For foam dimension, I'm using Honeybee Stamps white foam dots with tab, and this is the 1/16 inch thickness, so it does add dimension, but it's not super thick. The foam circles are 3/4 of an inch wide, but you can easily cut them if you need smaller pieces. Now it's time to start assembling the card, and I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from MFT, it's number 639. This fun watercolor pattern paper is from Honeybee Stamp's new Simply Spring paper pad. I completely forgot to show it at the beginning of the video. I had the Marvelous Moments paper pad out since that's what I used for the eggs. I completely forgot I used the Simply Spring paper pad. I layered the pattern paper on some burgundy cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and adhered it to the card following the design of the card sketch. Then I flipped over the panel, used my scissors to trim off the extra. Then I'll put ATG tape on the back of the embossed panel and also some glue along that very outside edge, and I'll layer it on the same burgundy cardstock. Put my card front onto a card base, and this is an American Standard A2 size card, 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. I cut out a few of the greenery pieces from some dark green cardstock. I'll add 2 of them on the left side of the card. They'll be peeking out behind the egg crate. I'll adhere both of those down using some glue. Now I'll remove the release paper on the foam and add my egg crate to the front of the card. And I decided to adhere it at a slight angle. It's super easy to remove the release paper on the foam tabs, except for the couple that I did cut. I just couldn't get my nail underneath a few of those. After I adhere my egg crate to the card, I'll add 2 more of the greenery pieces behind the eggs on the right side of the crate. And I am trimming down both of the pieces. I'll tuck one of them behind the egg in the back row, and the final piece I'll tuck behind the egg in the front row all the way on the right. Then using one of the leftover die cut pieces, I'll cut off just the very top area, then put some glue on the back and tuck it behind the egg in the front. For a sentiment, I've already stamped and cut it out using the coordinating honey cut dies. This is Grown with Love. And I stamped it on the same white shimmer cardstock using Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. I'll put some glue on the back and adhere it to the lid of the egg crate. I'll place an acrylic block on top for some added weight while I let the glue dry. I also stamped out this fun little chicken with some swirlies next to it, and this is from the same stamp set. I stamped it on some craft colored ink, and I did put foam dimension on the back. I'll remove the release paper and add the image to the front of the egg crate. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some of the Simply Spring gem stickers. I chose the lovely blue color to go with the blue eggs. I'll put 3 of them around the sentiment on the left side and 2 in the lower right hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.